Hey friends, so today I have another personal update for you, which is perfect timing because this was going to be a day I would post a self-reflection question anyway. So I'll start this off with the self-reflection question. How are you really doing? And the reason why I asked that question is because I kind of was thinking about this morning. It dawned on me that I am feeling really good. And I have to kind of explain. You all know now that I'm as transparent as I can be. I use this not only for providing tips and motivation and all that, but as a way to be accountable to myself. And also just to be transparent and honest with how some of these things that I share with you, with clients, of things to do, those things that work for me and what works and what doesn't. So as you know, over the past few months, I've been sharing some exercises and tips and things that I've been incorporating into my life that have really made a difference. With my energy level, with my motivation, with my business. But there still was something off. And just wanted to share that I was finally diagnosed with obstructive sleep apnea. And I share that because one, not to, turn this into a whole different thing, but I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't gone ahead and thought, okay, something's not right, and hearing from other people in random situations, just kind of figuring out, okay, something's going on with my sleep. And turns out that my fatigue and lack of energy and all of that was due to my sleep and the fact that I had sleep apnea, which I never would have guessed. I was so relieved and excited to get that news because I have been beating myself up over I should have more energy. I shouldn't be needing to sleep all this much. Shouldn't be taking these naps. Why can't I get things done? Why am I forgetting things? And to find out, yeah, there was actually something wrong. Not super excited about having to use a CPAP machine, which according to my doctor, no one is, but I was very excited to get started. So I have been using my machine for a month now. And I feel great. This morning was the first time where it dawned on me, man, I feel so good. Like, I feel better than I felt before I started feeling bad. And that is because I had already started incorporating these other healthy, whole being practices into my life. I had already started building in this yoga practice that I'm super excited about, but now I can do them in the morning when I really want to, and not, late after I've taken a nap. Although I do still like my yoga right before bed. So I've already incorporated that. I've already incorporated, shifting my thought process, so reframing thoughts, doing my social media with you guys and being really consistent with that and finding that I love that. I've already started incorporating these other practices. So now being able to resolve the physical issue has just changed everything. So now I'm like, I'm not going back to where I was before. I'm better than I was before. I'm a whole different person. And I wanted to do this video earlier this morning when I first realized this, because I was so excited and I was so passionate about it, and I was concerned that, you know, that excitement would wane throughout the day, but I had things to do, so I'm just now getting to this and I'm just as excited. So that makes me even more excited. So I know this is like a even bigger beginning, another step in my beginning to a journey to healthy whole being. It also is a huge, what shall I say, an example or confirmation of the way I see whole being, or well-being, if you will. You know, again, this is where this healthy whole being comes into play. The way we look at whole being or wellness and the well-being wheel is this wheel, and all of these great wedges of all these areas of your life. When we say well-being, especially well-being in the workplace and everything, there's a huge focus on mental health and physical health. And so our natural tendency with well-being is to go to mental and physical, which is huge. But there's other areas on that wheel. There is environmental, there is financial, there is social, there is you know, career. There are all of these different areas. And so when I say whole being, I mean that all of that has to be healthy for us to really be thriving. That's what makes us whole, if you will. Not like, am I well-rounded and do I have great things, but just that you're healthy in all of those areas. And the way I look at it is not as a wheel, but more as kind of a network. So if you think of like brainstorming, you know, or a mind map, and you have all these little bubbles. So if each of those areas is in a bubble with kind of a line or a chain between each of them, they're connected. You know, when you look at it as a wheel, as like this pizza, it looks like, oh, you know, they're each self-contained. But I like to see it as this kind of molding network. And when one is off and it starts vibrating or it starts spiraling, it pulls everything with it. So when my sleep started getting off, it affected everything. It affected motivation for the things I love doing. It affected my social life because I was canceling things because I couldn't build up the energy to show up. It was affecting my mental health because, again, I was beating myself up over things, you know, that were in my control, but the things that I weren't, you know, I wasn't looking at the right levers to move. It was affecting my emotional health because it was making me depressed. It was affecting every other thing. So getting that right and fixing, you know, things in those other areas has just made me feel so much like that's all more just floating and not something's over here triggering. So I will put a link somewhere. I got to figure out. I'm still in the growing phase and the, you know, learning phase of this video, social media stuff. So I will figure out how to put a link to my visual of healthy whole being. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. Just, let's see, the takeaways. The takeaways are, one, if you are feeling extremely exhausted, I do suggest doing a sleep assessment and just see if that might be an issue. Second takeaway is the big self-reflection question. How are you really feeling? How are you really feeling? And the third is it in any of those whole being areas? Any of those places? Because there might be something that's really off in one of those areas and it's triggering everything else. So go after that and then see how the rest works. You're probably working in some of those other areas, but there's one big thing that needs to be addressed. So friends, I'll leave you with that today. Hope you stuck with it. Thanks for sticking with me. And now that I've even figured out a better place in my house to do videos, so hopefully I get to do more. Yep, thanks for listening.